Hey, friends. Welcome to the Men of Monroe. I am once again flying solo this week. Sean is busy. I think he'll be back next week. So let's just say some hellos. Hello, Brandon. Hello, Jay. Hello, Jamie. Hey, Shirley. Hey, Kara. And let's see. Hello, Kate. Jay says, hello, Luann. Jay says, Walter looks so pensive. Yeah, I was kind of going over the steps of what I need to do. I was practicing a lot before because I'm doing something for my card tonight that is something I'm not that familiar with. So I'll show you that before we dive in. You can see my little Miss Sophia over my shoulder here, laying on the top cushion of the chair, and then my Mr. Baxter's over on the couch over there. Hello, Anne. So, welcome everyone. Thanks for joining me. It's nice to have such a nice turnout since I am flying solo tonight. And I titled this, I Want to Fly Away, because it is keeping with the theme of the March release, which is birds and feathers and some really fun stuff. So, without further ado, I'm going to go down to my desktop and go over with you what I'm using tonight. Here we go. So, tonight I am using the Origami Flight stamp set. It's really, really cute. So you have this origami bird on a string, and I like the sentiment, creased with kindness. It's going to go very well with my project for tonight. Also using the mixed media stencil Feathered Path, which is from the March release. Really nice feathers there that will add a nice background. Going to be using the Secret Garden washi sheets from last month. They were part of last month's release, but I thought they'd be a really kind of fun and funky design to go with what I'm doing tonight. And I'm using them in a washi way, but in a different way. So you'll see what I mean. They're going to feature prominently in the design. I'm also going to be using a panel of the Sky cardstock. And then for this week, there is a freebie, which is metallic feathers. And you get them free with a $50 order. And you get to choose from, if they're both in stock, either silver or gold. And I'm going to be using the silver tonight in my design to give you some an idea on how you might use them. But these are pretty nice, and you get several in there. Already have some double-sided adhesive on the back there, which is great. So yeah, going to be using those in the design too. So let me get some of this that I already have out put to the side. I'm going to need these two. So what was I practicing this afternoon, you may ask? And you can see I have my directions over here if I need them. I found a video on YouTube. The channel is Easy Paper Origami, and the video is called How to Make Easy Origami Bird. And I created a cute origami bird. And what I'm going to do is, this was made with just regular like computer printer paper. It's what they recommend. I did try it with cardstock, and I'm not extremely happy with how it came out. It's cute, but it's very bulky. That's the one that came out with the cardstock. But like I said, it's pretty bulky and not really as thin as I'd like. So I'm doing with the computer paper and the printer paper. And what I'm going to do is use the washi sheets to add a design onto the bird. So I'll show you how I'm going to do that. This was actually pretty easy. I mean, I don't want to undersell it. It took me several times practicing, but I think I have the hang of it now. Hello there, Penny. Welcome. I think I have the hang of it now. And what's going to happen is once I have him all done, or her, and once I have my panel done and designed, I made these little tabs on the bottom of the bird that I'm going to use some glue dots and some craft glue together to glue the bird down onto the card panel. And what's nice about this is those two pieces will be glued down. But if you want to put it into an envelope, you can very easily put the bird down so that it won't cause any issues with mailing. So we're going to start with making the bird. And I used, as I had mentioned, printer paper, and I had cut a square. Origami paper would work too. Yes, Jay, it definitely would. I don't have any origami paper. This was actually my first time attempting origami. So, but that's a good suggestion. So I cut it down to a 4x4 square, 4 inches by 4 inches. I also then took out one of the full washi sheet, and I cut that down to 4x4. And I wanted to do it this way, and I lifted the backing off of it. I wanted to do it this way because on the washi sheets, there's the strips, and then there's also the little thin pieces that kind of run along that are like the borders. I want everything to end up on here so that there's no white space. So I cut them down, cut out two 4x4 sheets of the washi sheet. And so I'm going to start with those, and I'm going to carefully take the backing off. And the nice thing is that these washi sheets are pretty thin too. So I am adding a little bit of weight and thickness to the printer paper, but it's not too much. It still won't be as thick as that 65-pound cardstock. So now on the first side, I'm going to line up my corner over here and press that down. Then come and line it up on the side without pulling it apart, hopefully. Get my fingers unstuck. And if this one thing came off, it would easily go back into place, but I'm trying to keep it all as one. Hopefully I can do that. I have most of it down. I didn't practice this part earlier, but easy. Oh, I almost lost that strip, and I really do want that strip on there. So let's get the strip on. There we go. Not too bad. And I did in advance lift up those sides because it took me a good minute or two to get those sides lifted up. My trusty little dental pick tool came in handy, the weeding tool for paper crafting. So that was helpful. Now, another way you can do this, which I should have thought of the first time, is peel it back only a little bit, and that will help with unraveling. So let's get that stuck down, and you have something to hold on to then too, and get that stuck down. Then you can start to pull. Maybe that's not easier. Let's see. Pick it up and pull that and place that part down. There we go. Okay. Now let's try to get the rest. So that individual borders are lifting a bit, but let's see if we can keep going this way. And that one came off. That's okay. I'll go ahead and place that one in place later. So I think what I'm going to do is just grab this like this and then put the... Should have done it like I did the first side. That was easier. Well, lessons learned, you know. Let's get that stuck down. And let's get the next piece of that border. All right, so we'll get these down first, and then we'll get the strips put in. It works. It works just fine. So I hope everyone's having a good week. Can't believe this week has just flown by. There's that. Okay, now this one was next. And the good news is, since we are folding, it doesn't have to be 100% perfect by any means. I think, yeah, it goes this way. Let's put that one down, because you're never going to see like the full panel on display itself. And we'll set this one in place. And last. Okay, so not too bad. There we go. Okay, and now that that's done, we can start folding. And so for folding this, we are going to start by, you want to fold it in half, kind of like you're making a paper sailboat or a napkin. Get your sides lined up and have your point right there lined up. And then you can just come in, crease it, and get that together. And now I'm going to take my bone folder and I'm going to crease the fold, get it nice and crisp. Now you're going to do the same thing, but with the other side doing opposite, so that what you're going to end up with is kind of like that, the 4 smaller triangles inside of the main triangle. Just take a quick look at the chat and make sure I'm not missing. Nope, there we go. Okay, so now we get that creased. So now we're going to open that up and we're going to take the bottom, bring it up to that center point where that's folded. Have your point on that line. Make a crease and let's get that all nicely pressed into place. Then we're going to bring this top part down. And you're going to fold the top part of it up, and you want to go about halfway up. Halfway up you have like this space here between this fold and there. You want to come about halfway up that. Make a fold. And then we're going to burnish this line. I'm just going to mention again that if anyone is interested afterwards in seeing the video that I watched, it's on YouTube. The channel name is Easy Paper Origami. And the video for this one is how to make easy origami bird. So once you have that, you're going to turn it, you're going to flip it. Well, hello there, Nikki. Welcome. And once you flip it, you're now going to fold the other side down so that you have a triangle with this little piece kind of jutting out from it. And this little piece is pretty important, and it's not perfectly lined up. Let's see if I can get it a little bit better. Again, I realize not everything has to be perfect. Sometimes my quest for perfectionism gets the best of me. But I'd like to get it as nice as possible. There we go. That's going to be better. Let me burnish that down. And while I'm at it, I'm going to burnish over here too. Okay. So now we have this little guy sticking out. Yes, we are paper folding today, Nikki, doing a little bit of easy origami. I'm doing well, though. I hope you are too. And now that you have that little piece over here, you're going to take it and fold it down so that this comes down at an angle. And what you want is, do you see how this piece runs past that line? Here, I'll bring it up to the camera to show you. As I brought it over and folded it down, this piece here is longer and it goes over. You want that actually, because on our bird, that's going to help form the beak. So now that that's there, I'm going to burnish that. Then you open it, you take your finger and push up as if you're trying to make it flat. But instead of making it flat, you're going to fold it down at an angle so that it creates a diamond like this. You can see the diamond shape there. I'm going to burnish both sides of that. Now, you want to take each of these points right here, and you want to turn it in. And as you turn it in, you want this side to fold up towards that middle point. So I want to make sure I try to do it so you can see it. You don't want to go too far. There we go. That is almost. That's good right there. So you can see I now have that folded over. Now I'm going to do this. I'm going to burnish that. I'm going to do the same thing over here on this side by flipping that over and lining it up with the other piece. And they should approximately be at about the same height, and they are. And now I'm going to crease both of those. Okay. Been having a great week. He's on spring break. Oh, okay. Well, definitely sending all good wishes to him, Nikki. Now, once that's folded like that, you want to flip the two sides up. And what that does is it creates that head, which is like this piece right here. So we have our head created. Now, after you get your head, and you can see the beak coming down. I don't know if you can see it by my finger, but there's the little beak too. Oh, thank you so much, Penny. You are the bomb. You are seriously the best. I don't know what I would do without you. Now what you're going to do is you have here, and you want to create a fold that's going to make this into like a triangle. So you're going to fold it up, and this is just that back side. You're going to fold it over so that it folds up like that, and then go ahead and crease that. Get a really good crease on that. This is a little bit thicker than the the printer paper was, but not quite as thick as the 65 pound with the with the washi on here. So then I flip it the other way and do that, and it's actually folding much easier than the 65 pound did. So I'm happy about that. So once you have that, you're then going to lift that back up. We want to be on the side with the beak. Now you're going to open that up, and you created here. There's a line that goes over this way from a crease. And what you want to do is flip that up to that line. And fold that. And then once you do that, you're going to bring those sides together. Actually, before I do that, I do want to do a nice burnish there too. Hi, Sandy. And you're going to bring those sides back together. Just like so. And line up your wings and your head. Okay, so once you get that, as you can see, there's lots of burnishing. And we're almost done. And we'll be able to move on to the rest of this is going to come together so easily. We're then going to flip our wing up and burnish that. Flip that wing up. And burnish that. And I just need to reference my notes for a minute. Then what you want to do is take this back end of the wing and you want to turn that up just like that and create a fold there. And then you're going to do the same on the other wing. Fold that up. And burnish that. Then you're going to bring those inside. I should burnish it as I do that. Make sure it's folding okay, because you only want that piece to come inside. So there's that one. And let's burnish this one over here. This is where this is definitely a little bit thicker than the printer paper. But once you do that, you have your I'm missing something. Oh, you know what? I was supposed to stick that back up. That's why. That's why that was thicker. I was supposed to flip that up. There. Now it makes more sense. Okay, so we have our bird. And what I want to do is create this little lift at the bottom where I'm going to be able to attach it to the card base. So I'm going to take that and do that so that when I'm ready, we'll put the card, we'll put that down on the card base, and we'll have a place for our bird to stand. And you can also spread open the head a little bit if you'd like. Something I'm going to do right now, before we move on, is I took some little black crystals and I'm going to glue them onto the side to be an eye. And that's approximately okay. Can always fix the other side if it's not lined up the way I like. Come on, you. Once we get him up, he's on the wrong side. Come on, turn. There we go. Once that's dry, I can get some of that glue off of there. And I think where I had it is actually going to be pretty good. So let me get my Jim turned over. There we go. And get him there. And then I can just, with my fingers, go ahead and make sure that it's approximately aligned. So now we have our bird, and he's going to go right onto our card panel when we're finished. There's his beak. You can always pull the beak up a bit if you want, but kind of cute. And I liked it with the patterned paper. It makes it a little bit more artistic than just a white one. So we're going to put him to the side for right now. And I'm going to get into how we are making our card base. I hope that was a clear demonstration. And again, Penny shared the link to that video. So if you want to watch the master folder do it, he is much better than I, but I think you can see it's not that difficult. So yeah. Okay, so I cut the sky. I have a pre-folded A2 card base. I cut the sky paper down to 4 inches by 5 1/4, so that it just provides, like, it has a white border going around it from the card base. Go ahead and get that one put down. Then we're going to do some stenciling and some stamping. And you'll see that when we get to the stenciling, I decided to go with a metallic silver pigment ink for the stenciling, because it's going to blend in with those metallic silver feathers that are the freebie for the week that I'm going to use in the design as well. Hope you're having a good week, Sandy. Let's get that extra adhesive off of there real quick. Again, because it's going to bother me if I don't. Okay, we'll put our card panel to the side. Now I have a white card panel that is trimmed to 3.75 by 5. And I am going to start with stenciling. So we'll move those feathers, and I'm going to arrange my panel on here. Grab my stencil. And as I stencil this, I want to go from kind of lighter color, kind of like an ombre, if you will, going lighter to darker. So as I stencil, I'm going to go lighter up here and then move darker as I go down. Glad to hear that. So I have my little dabbing paper here. So for here, you just want to go over it lightly. And I'm going to do it in about thirds. So there's the first third. This next one, I'm going to go over a little bit extra and make it a little bit darker. And of course, I want to go up into that first third a bit to start to darken that edge up. And, for the colors, I didn't, since I have a very colorful bird, I didn't want to use like blues and greens because I thought that might be too much. So I wanted something simple. Since I have the metallic silver in the feathers, I thought that a nice metallic pigment ink would be good. Um, but you could also very easily go with like a gray or a lighter color like that too. Or you could add like you could do a pink, because that would be a nice contrast to the blue and the green in the bird. Like I said, I just didn't want it to be too overpowering. I figure since we have the bird and since we have those feathers, kind of keep it simple for the background. And now here I'm going to go over it a few times to make sure that it's nice and dark so that we should have that ombre effect. And then just to kind of blend it all together, I'm not going to use too much pressure as I go over these areas, but I am going to come over it again just to make sure that it's blended. Okay, move the ink pad. It is a great stencil. It's really pretty. And it would look really great, like, doing a rainbow type of color scheme. There we go. So we were successful. There is a bit of an ombre going on. You can see that it is a little bit lighter here and then moving darker. And I think that is really, really pretty. So I'm going to move this out of the way. And now we can do a little bit of stamping. And I know where I'm going to place the feathers. I know where I'm going to place the bird. So knowing those two things makes it easier for where I'm going to place the stamps. And so this like using the origami bird stamp is totally optional since we're going to have a bird on here. I do think it's kind of fun. And I'm going to have him aligned so that he's like right in the corner with his top string hitting up against the top and then his back tail hitting up against the side over here. And I'm going to put the sentiment right next to him. I think that is good. Let me grab my stamping platform. Let's get that on there. Just fix the alignment because it shifted a bit. Make sure our sentiment is relatively straight. There we go. Magnets down. And open my drawer here to get my, there it is, my Raven ink from Brutus Monroe. Pick up our stamps. Just going to glance one last time. I think I'm happy with that. And let's get those inked up. Get them stamped down. That looks good. I'm not, you know what? I am going to do the sentiment one more time just to darken that up. But the bird itself, the origami bird, looked really good. Okay. So we have that done. And I'm just going to quickly clean off my stamps. So last night when I was thinking about the project I was going to do, I was laying in bed and this idea of attempting an origami bird came to mind. And because I wanted to do something other than just stenciling, just stamping, something to make it a little more fun. And so I hope that you agree. Now, how did that line up? That went, oh, you know what? I have it going on the wrong, I have it. There we go. Turn it over, Walter. I hope you agree that this is a little bit more unique and not too challenging, and just fun. I think once you see it all put together, you're going to see it's a lot of fun. Okay, so have the stamp there. Now, I have to grab a thin marker and connect that going up because I really wanted that touching up there. There we go. And then if you want to add any other details, you always can, but the stamp is nice and crisp and that came out pretty well. So now we can get that panel onto our card. Just going to fold any of that excess adhesive on the sides underneath. There we go. Can I zoom in a bit? Sure. Was there anything particular that that you missed seeing that I can show you, Sandy? There is the panel. And you know what I can do too is I'm sorry if I was too far out when I was doing the folding. I can do one with, I have some extra white paper and there should be time enough that I can fold one and show in case you'd like to see it a little bit closer. Okay, so now I'm going to get my panel centered on there. And that looks good. Now, as I mentioned, these leaves are the freebie, free with a $50 purchase this week. And you get a whole set of them, and you have a choice of silver or gold. I am going to put one leaf coming down this way, and I'm going to make sure that I don't cover up my sentiment. That looks good. And I'm going to do this one on the bottom. I like how these leaves come in two different sizes, because then it's so easy. Like, you can create a nice little border like that. And of course, now I want to grab a rag and just come in and clean those up a bit. Make sure there's nothing much stuck there. Okay, so now those are in place. Now our bird's eyes are dry. Can't really see that glue, which is great. And to get our bird in place, I'm going to use some glue dots as well as some craft glue. So I'm going to use both, simply because the glue will give me a little bit of wiggle room once I get this down. And of course, the glue and the glue dots will create a nice bond. So there's one on there. These are the smallest ones, so I'm probably going to use 3. And I'm going to do them like in a triangle. So I have one up in that side. I'm going to do one over this side, line it up, and push it into place. And if you get it a little over, you can just smush it down. And let's do this one up on this point. So there'll be some good points of contact for your adhesive and the card panel. Do this guy right there. There we go. Flip them around the right way. Get this one over here. And the last one. There we go. Now I'm just going to grab my glue. And I'm going to put some glue there as well. Bring our little guy down on here, and I'm going to put him kind of sitting right here. Just want to make sure that I got, yep. I'm going to press down in the right places. So I'm going to put my thumbs there and come in and get him set into place. Where's my, oh, they're down here. There we go. So let's give him a little push down against there. And so we have his wings. And there he is with his head and his beak. And now when you go to put this in an envelope, you will be able to fold this guy over and it will flatten. Then when they take him out, he can just pop right back up. And you fix his beak a bit. And what I'm going to do is just lift it up so you can see it from a few different angles. You can see his beak. Oh, you can see his beak right there. There's his eye. There he is, his wings right here. And the same on this side. So he's just going to sit there on our card panel. And so there is our raised origami bird card. I think that, like, you know, the colors of that washi, that this is why, as I explained, I went with the silver, because it's nice and soft. Hey, Meg. And then we have our brighter silver from these feathers. And of course, I used that sky blue because that coordinates in to be, you know, pretty close in shade to the blue that's on the that's on the washi sheet there. And yeah, yes, Meg, an origami card tonight. So the stamp we were using is called Origami Flight, and you can see it stamped out right here. So it's this paper bird on a string. The sentiment is creased with kindness. The silver feathers are the freebie for this week, free with a $50 purchase. While supplies last, you can choose from gold or silver until one color runs out or until they both run out. So I put those on, and I used the a stencil from this month, and this stencil is called, where did I put the oh, here's the packaging. It's called Feathered Path, and I went ahead and stenciled that with some silver metallic pigment ink onto a white panel, stamped those, and the first thing I did was created the bird. And so there we go. Thanks, Sandy. Thanks, Meg. Thanks, Anne. Yeah, you know what? It's a little different, but you know, I like different, and I usually end up pushing the boundaries on different a little bit. So I just thought it would be kind of fun. So, Meg, if you would like to see how the bird was made, there is a YouTube channel further up in the stream. Penny was nice enough to share the link. The YouTube channel is called Easy Paper Origami, and the particular video was called How to Make Easy Origami Bird. Oh, thanks, Kara. I appreciate that. Since we have a few minutes, and like it, Meg, if you'd like to see, I can demonstrate the bird once again. It goes pretty quickly. I cut a 4x4 piece of printer paper because it's nice and thin and easy to work with. On the bird for the card, I put some of the Brutus Monroe washi sheet on each side. So that's going to be the main difference here, but the folding is all going to be the same. And so you take your square and you fold it in half one way, burnish it. And Sandy, I think you may have missed some of the folding too. So if just in case you're interested in seeing it, I can quickly go through it again. Then you line up and do the same thing, but in the opposite direction. And of course, if you're like me, you want to make sure that it's like as perfect as you can get it. Get that point up there. There we go. Now we can burnish that. Yes, Kate, definitely. Oh, you're welcome, Sandy. Yeah, see you next week. Okay, so once you do that, you take the bottom of your big triangle, fold it up to the center, crease it, and then let that go. Flip the top part over. Then you're going to, when you created this crease, you created this area here. So you want to bring the top down over it and bring this piece folded up so it's about halfway up that particular area. And once you're there, go ahead and fold that and burnish it. Once you have that, you're going to turn it. Then you're going to flip this side down. And you guessed it, we're going to go ahead and burnish it. Make sure everything is nice there. And so now you have this piece over here. And so you're going to take that and you're going to fold it down So that actually, so this is good because my beak was a little small on the one I just made, and this is giving me space to make a bigger beak. So I think because I had a better fold when I brought it up that time. So burnish that. Hello, Cordelia. That is quite okay. Nice to see you. And so we had that brought over. Now you flip it up. You come. Oh, you know what? I did it to the wrong side. That's okay. That's not going to matter. It's this side that we do that same thing. I should have looked for that. That's why it was coming up bigger. I was like, wow, that beak is really a lot bigger than my other one. That was why it was the wrong side. So now when you bring it up, you're going to, like you're making that flat, but then taking the whole piece and folding it over like so. And when you do that, you're going to take this side and fold it up towards the center. Actually, just like so. You're going to do the same thing over here. Have those two meet, and you can see that they're about the same size. Burnish that. Then you bring that up, and this time I made an even smaller beak. So I think to correct for that, well, you get the idea. The beak is coming down, and what you can always do is pull it a bit too, but you'll see it more when we have the bird open. So once you're done with that, you're going to take this particular side and fold it over, burnish it. Hello, Christy. How are you, friend? Then you're going to fold it and get it creased the opposite direction on the other side. When you have that, you're similar to making the face. You're going to open that up, and you're going to have a line that goes between the two sides, and you're going to fold this piece up to that. And fold this over. Just like that. Then we're going to crease that. Now that that's done, you're going to take your wing and fold it up. Ooh, driving to dinner. Nice. You're going to do the same on the other side. Now that that's done, you have this point down here on each of the wings. You're going to fold that up just a little bit. You're going to do the same thing on the other side. You're going to burnish that. Then you're going to open that up. And you're going to fold those in. Just like that. And of course, you can use your bone folder and burnish it. And what we end up with is our bird. This one's not quite perfect, but you get the idea. And the guy on the video does a much nicer job. Um, and the beak should be down a little bit more. I didn't quite fold that just enough, but you get the idea. As you can see with this one, I actually do know what I'm doing. Here's the beak. And then here's what that looks like all finished up. And I purposely made this little stand at the bottom. And that is what I used to put the glue on to glue them to my card base. So there we go. We have our origami bird on the card. It's a great video. I highly recommend watching him. And with that, I'm going to head back up. I won't move that until I head up. Thanks, Meg. I appreciate that. And then if you want to see it from this view, that's what you end up with. So your bird is sitting there on the card, and it will fold down to put into an envelope. So kind of a fun interactive card. Oh, very cool, Cordelia. Nice. This was my first attempt with it. So I'd say for the couple of like the hour and that I took beforehand to try to make the bird, I think I did okay. Hey, Candy, thank you. I think you'll get a better look at it when I take the pictures. Thank you, Christy. So thank you all very much for spending some time with me tonight. I really appreciate it. Oh, Meg, you're so sweet. I really appreciate you. Your comments always make me feel good. Yes, thank you, Penny. Don't forget, Candy is on tomorrow night. She's on at 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern. And next week, I think Sean will be back with me. So we'll be back to Men of Monroe and not Man of Monroe. So thanks so much for joining. Any questions? If you try to make this, feel free to reach out. Send me a note. I'll get back to you. I answer Messenger and Instagram messages all the time. So hope you have a great weekend, and I'll see you real soon. Bye.